Hello and welcome to the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. It's Tuesday, June the 1st, 2021. That's right, guys. We made it through another month on these crypto high seas. How did you survive the May crash? Are you still clutching onto the guardrail, pleading for no further selling, or did you make it out relatively unscathed? Did you hedge up at a favorable spot in the market? Lots of lessons, lots to reflect on. I guess looking back on this month that resulted, let's just flip my chart to the monthly so we get a bit of perspective on this. That's right, guys, resulted in this one gargantuan monster monthly move to the downside after, of course, 6 unprecedented green monthly candles in a row. Much of this could have been expected, but of course, many market participants probably got wiped out by this move, and indeed we have some news stories to cover a bit of that. Of course, guys, we are back. We're back yet again. It's another, well, it's the second consecutive Tuesday back on the YouTube front. It feels so good to be back. I do see we had a super chat come in already from GBU Professor Wally. Shout outs to Mr. Wally. Much thanks for that generous super chat. We'll be covering the comments and the content of that super chat in just a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to get this show started, and in order to do that, I'm going to introduce two of our hosts, two of our analysts. As always, we got Alex and Jason here with us. Let's hear from Alex first. Alex, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, that bee still buzzing around your apartment or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, be sure to duck and cover when necessary. And we got Jason with us here today as well. Jason, how's things going?
Feeling pretty good, Jack. As of right now, yesterday started to take my first few stabs at some longer-term positions to the upside, like with bottom feeder firings, something that I discussed with Alex in the sense of I don't want to drop my hedge because I've been hedged since 51. But now that we're starting to get a cumulative of bottom feeder signals, I'm taking the USD contract to the upside while still keeping my hedge. So now it's starting to get into market conditions here to where I'm playing both sides, but we'll see. Because as of lower time frames now, we are starting to look a little weak, but you don't really know over the course of the next week on how that's going to play out in consideration to the bottom feeder signals that I'm taking are on the daily, as well as I did take XRP BTC and ADA USDT yesterday, but I think that we are starting to set up for maybe a little push to the upside like we've been discussing, so we'll see.
Indeed. With the new month opening, you figure we're going to explore, well, some of this. We might very well, this month at least, test up to 45K. I'm putting 45K as one of my June targets, but just as easily I could see us testing down and checking out 28K. So if I were to put a range on this monthly candles action, it'd be something like that. Man, how does Alex always draw these cool purple boxes? How can I get one of those on my screen? I'll figure that out one of these days. Of course, let's all right, let's do it. Let's get into it, guys. We have 2 hours in store for you today. Of course, everything from a quick overview we're about to get into of the overnight price action, some news items we're going to cover, a look at bubbles, a quick shout out of everyone in the audience before we get into the main event, and that is, of course, the analysis of Alex Pearson here, followed by your AMA and chart request section. So stand by for that, guys. Do get your requests in. Maybe better to save them for a little later in the show. All right, let me also check if we're going to do that chest today. I'm sure everybody's anxious to get a little bit of that chest after yesterday's misfire, but let's get right into it. Let's see what Bitcoin did, and honestly, not a whole lot. If anything, looks kind of weak on the lower time frames. We did almost tap the baseline yesterday in this run up to 37.5-ish. We've sold, in fact, yeah, even today's candle. How far did this wick up? Did we in fact wick all the way up here? Looks like we did. Yeah, today's candle wicked up to 37.4, which put us, which had us touching the baseline for a brief bit there, or at least the Keltner channel, the baseline that I'm using here on my chart. Sold into, we are currently at 35.8. If you look at the lower time frames, like I said, man, bit of a swing failure and rejection on the hourly. Makes you wonder, is this all we have in store for this week? Are we about to head down? I'll save some of those conclusions for our analysts coming up. Let's have a look at Ethereum. What is Ethereum doing today? Well, not a whole lot. Currently at 25.40. Yep, most of these indicators are still buried. Not much to say here. A whole lot of nothing going on EOS as well. Man, I know we're going to get tired of saying this, but a lot of these charts look the same. Doge at 32 cents, up a penny from where we were just analyzing this yesterday. Most of the indicators look a lot like one another too. Here we go. Link makes is starting to cross over the zero at least. And today tested the baseline, seems to be down since then. Currently at $29. Makes you wonder, will any of these tokens see a slight bullish impulse in order to kind of clear the baseline, along with the indicators having reset? Maybe we'll be ready to take some long signals around here. XRP 99 cents. Man, all these charts looking the damn same. Polkadot currently at $22. Nothing really even ready to do here. Kusama, not too shabby. Had a pretty green day yesterday. Yesterday's candle body measures nearly 20%. Kusama currently at $363. Minx has finally cleared the zero line, crossing in to, I guess, positive territory. WADA not really ready to flip yet, but I'll be keeping my eye on Kusama, one of the strongest coins in the last few months during the latter half of the bull cycle. Makes you wonder, will this be one of the next tokens to free itself from this whole downdraft that we're having in the market here? Matic. Ooh, I wonder if it's time. Well, maybe not, but Matic is starting to look a bit droopy. It might very well. I need a little more selling, and we will be closing below the baseline. I don't think we'll be able to short this thing, especially with Minx looking like this. But it makes you wonder. Matic looking pretty toppy on the daily. Will it see another sell-off after all of this? Of course, it held up pretty good during this ugly period, but its time may be coming. No, to short this thing into the ground. What else is there here? Let's see here. BNB looking like about everything else. $346 BNB presently. The Uniswap token looking a bit like the Link chart. Did get into the baseline territory here. Currently at $26. Minx is starting to pull up above zero. WADA dead flat. Not much to do there. All right, Cardano. Bit like the Link and Uni chart. Another token that's seeing its Minx pulling up above zero. Wonder if this thing will be able to clear the baseline, generate a long signal sometime this week. All right, not much more to say on that front. I am gonna try to speed through this in order to make more room for your guys' requests, and of course Alex's analysis coming up in just a few minutes. All right, there is a quick overview of the latest price action and some of the CC indicators. Let's get into it. Yes, confirmation from Ben. We will be opening the chest today, guys. So it's going to be 1 hour, 45 minutes into the show. We will be opening that chest. Stand by, guys. A little bit, yeah, just about 1 hour, 30 minutes exactly from now. Chest will be getting opened. Let's take a look at bubbles. Oof. Mixed bag, mostly red across the alt space. A lot of tokens giving back whatever gains they managed to post the last day or two. But a couple outlier gainers here, including the WazRX token, I should say. Up 23% today. Kusama, of course, making bubbles using Not sure exactly how Bubbles calculates their daily open and close, but it's up 6.7% on the Bubbles. Pirate Chain is back. Pirate Chain up 15%. Theta and its brother TFUEL both up nearly 15%. ZIL rounds out some of the gainers today with a paltry 3.8%.
I wonder why Ren isn't on this thing.
Ren?
Yeah.
Crypto Bubble seems to be kind of selective which coins.
Yeah, they don't really.
I wouldn't
would
really
like to know their
like.
process.
I mean, NC Shib and SafeMoon was there like week 2.
Let's see if we Google Ren on Crypto Bubbles. Any discussion on Reddit as to why? Not immediately obvious as to why. But yeah, there's a few tokens missing from Bubbles. I wonder why. Very curious. Is Ren one of the gainers for today? How much is it up? Out of curiosity. How much
Well, previously it was up like 10%. I don't know about now.
All right. Did we have any exposure?
I mean, I don't. You could navigate there.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. I will add Ren momentarily to my watch list. Let's go Ren Tether USD on Binance. Let's pull it up here. Oh yeah. Something that finally a chart that looks a little different than the rest. Yesterday, of course, closed at 57 cents. Minx crossing above zero. Water's not quite there yet, but here we go. Last 48 hours, Ren is up 35%. Today's candle up about 10%. Yeah, not too shabby. Finally a token clearing the baseline. Maybe ready to launch for its next leg
definitely
up.
odd. It's not on Crypto Bubbles.
Well, these Crypto Bubbles guys are kind of an elite club. I guess they don't let everybody in. All right, there is your look at Bubbles, everyone. Not too much to mention, except of course, mostly single-digit losers across the alt space, seemingly. Let's go and hop into the news real quick. Let's see what we have here today. This one comes from the Bitcoinist. Let me just check if it's on screen. Yep, looks good. Weekend shaken out. Short-term Bitcoin holders are selling at a loss. It's the capitulation finally here. During yesterday's session, Bitcoin hinted at possibility of a bounce. Market drop, of course, dropped Bitcoin to recent 28K.
When did this news come out? I feel like we read this exact same news 2 days ago.
We might have, but let's just quickly recap it.
On-chain statistics show that long-term holders are buying here, and it's the weekends that sold at these prices. So,
exactly. And here is.
Yeah, so we definitely. I feel like we did this news story 2 days ago.
We might have, but let's entertain it just very briefly here a little more. Let's see here. Short-term investors have been panic selling their coins. This contributes to high selling pressure in the crypto market, counterbalances any fresh capital that enters the market. Let's see here. This is according to Glassnode's their short-term holder spent output profit ratio SOPR metric, of course, measures investors selling at a profit or loss, has been below 1 almost since mid-May. As Bitcoin's price rises, the indicator follows. Also reveals how panic selling has struck the markets. Yeah, I guess we mostly covered this today. And this, of course, recaps also long-term Bitcoin holders buying the fear. Indeed. All right, let's hop into the next item here. Let's see, I'm going to move this up a bit. Let's go over here. Bitcoin long positions near all-time high. I do think we also touched on this the other day, but just to get a perspective of what's going on in the market, Bitfinex Bitcoin whales are going heavily long, but are they historically right? This article, of course, questions that. Bitfinex whales leaning hard into the longs. Makes you wonder, are they preparing to get wrecked? And to counterbalance this, I guess, is the strong Bitcoin rally in sight as extreme fear grips Bitcoin. All right, so this particular analyst, Alex Kruger, believes that Bitcoin is actually poised for a massive rally as market participants turn extremely bearish on the top digital assets. So it makes you wonder, a bit of contradictory metrics out here. On one hand, you do have the fear and greed index, which in itself may not be super accurate, but apparently it's hitting excuse me, It's plunging to a level not seen since the coronavirus-induced panic last year. So you have, on one hand, you have the crypto fear and greed index bottoming out, extreme greed. On the flip side, the Bitfinex whales are all piling in, apparently, on the longs. So who is going to win this tug of war? That is the question. Here is some daily FUD from JP Morgan. One analyst is now claiming Bitcoin could hit, let's see here, its fair value. It claims, one analyst says its fair value is somewhere between 24,000 and 36,000. This particular analyst thinks that another crash is imminent. Let's see here. Following the recent market correction and cooling interest in the asset, this analyst feels 24K to 36K is Bitcoin's fair value right now, and he also writes that the rising volatility is to blame for the recent loss of interest from institutions. JP Morgan will soon join the likes of Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, offering Bitcoin products to rich clients. All right, in the meantime, I guess the clients shouldn't rush to buy until we make a descent, at least according to this analyst from JP Morgan, $26,000 to signal retail capitulation. All right, something to think about, but there's your JP Morgan price projection. Coinbase is now linking its Visa debit card with Apple Pay and Google Pay. That's right, do you have a Coinbase Visa card yet? Well, good news. For all you hardcore smartphone, digital wallet users, Apple Pay, Google Pay now bringing Coinbase debit card support. This according to a blog post from the Coinbase today. They also said that starting this week will invite select customers off the wait list for the card product itself. All right, so I guess if you've been waiting, I guess here in the US, because UK and EU based customers already got theirs, you might be in luck. The Visa debit card comes with its crypto rewards, so very similar to crypto.com, but a decent move to finally see Coinbase wedding itself to the Apple Pay and Google Pay platforms.
Yeah, but at least you don't have to buy a scammy shitcoin to participate in it like you do with crypto.com.
Yes, that is definitely true. That is certainly true. Let's see here. Debit card move reflective of Coinbase retail-oriented push. Indeed, this does help bolster their move into the retail space. Continues to build out institutional offerings as well. Wow, doesn't that make you all warm and fuzzy feeling about the Coinbase stock now? Hope Coinbase investors are paying attention. How about this? Mike Novogratz, along with several others, including the sports merchandise company Fanatics. Well, they're all getting in bed together to launch a new non-fungible token NFT company called Candy Digital. They already inked a deal with the MLB. Others, including from the NBA, NFL, and NHL partner franchises, are soon to follow.
Well, I bet they must have been rubbing their hands together. Like MLB is like, yeah, sign me up. We saw what happened with NBA Top Shots. A couple $100 million. Yeah, we'll take that. Sign us up.
Yeah. Dibs.
Yeah, so here we go. In the fall, Candy will officially launch an online platform where customers will be able to purchase, collect, and trade MLB licensed NFTs via a public storefront and secondary marketplace. According to the official announcement, the first release will be a one-of-one NFT of Lou Gehrig's Luckiest Man speech that he delivered on July 4th, 1939, after, of course, being diagnosed with ALS, commemorating the league's first official Lou Gehrig's Day. All right, so they managed to align this with the ALS Awareness Day taking place on June 2nd. Proceeds from the NFT sale will support ALS, blah, 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 blah. All right, so great way to make a splash in the sports collector scene. There you go, guys. Mike Novogratz and several other players, I guess, from the crypto space, inking a deal with the MLB. MLB, of course, earns a royalty from both primary and secondary sales. Further financial terms of the deal were not made. Secondary sales. It's amazing what you can do with smart contracts and blockchains, huh? No matter how many times this collectible will trade hands in the private market, I think a bit of a royalty goes back to MLB.
Is that true, or is that just how you're reading this?
That's how I'm reading this, but I think I've heard many of these NFTs, these sports NFTs, described as like that in the past. So I presume I'm mostly correct. That's
I would imagine that if it's not that way right now, that it will probably be that way in the future.
Indeed. So here we go, guys. There is a little update on what Mike Novogratz is up to, and of course these tie-ins, these sports league tie-ins certainly help raise awareness, and one major application and utility for crypto tech. How about that? All right, we've already covered this.
We're getting a lot of conversation here about NFTs. Yeah, you guys know, I think NFTs are like crypto beanie babies. There's just going to be no liquidity to sell if you decide at a time when they're not popular. If there's just no one buying, it's literally worthless.
It's not fungible at that point yet.
Yeah, exactly. They're non-fungible. They're non-fungible tokens. Like that's what's both good and bad about them, right? They're like totally. If there's not a market, there's literally not a market for them.
Yeah, it could fall out from under you, and there's nothing you can do.
But a gaming company that properly did NFTs. Imagine if you were 5 years old, you got a Pokemon, and the Pokemon was like an NFT, and you could have your Pokemon for life.
Yeah, okay. That or like an in-game board or something.
Yeah. Can you imagine the kind of brand loyalty that would engender?
Yeah, for sure. I've always thought that like for video games, NFTs make a lot of sense because you can make them within worlds and then transfer them over to different games. Like, yeah, you could really increase your own clout, right? Like, look at all the things he has. Like, as a gamer, I think it makes total sense.
You've got a customer for life right there. And of course, Nintendo will never do something like that. It won't be Pokemon, but like I'm using Pokemon as an example. I'm sure lots of you, I did too, played Pokemon as a child. It was magical in its own way, but there's not, you can't have that continuity with the, creatures and or items in any digital game right now. Without something like an NFT.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think that people are going to get creative with it, to be honest with you. I think people make it work.
I will point out, Alex, the whole purpose of some of this memorabilia, these collectibles, is to collect, not so much, look to constantly flip and double up and anything like that. People like to hoard their collections in a binder or an album and stick it on the shelf. So I don't know if, having tons of market demand in perpetuity is maybe what the collectors are looking for. But I do see your point, of course. Like everything crypto, there's probably going to be rife with speculation and tons of buying pressure as these things launch, and might very well taper off over time. You might end up holding some expensive digital NFTs, I guess. All right. Let's dive into another item or two. How are we doing on time? Yeah, we're doing pretty good on time. Anybody curious what the top trending cryptos on Twitter are this month? Besides Dogecoin. In fact, Dogecoin's taking a bit of a back seat on social media.
That's how unfunny Elon's skit was.
I know, right? What a backfire.
Just died right after.
His skit was the top of Doge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We've been saying that. We were saying that like right at the beginning of the show.
The news.
That Friday, yep, it's so true. That Friday or Saturday leading into that SNL skit was indeed one of the best places to sell or short this doggy into the ground. What a unwinding ever since. But never fear, there's other trending meme coins that the crypto Twitter will implore you to buy. If you're curious, they've compiled the top alts on Twitter based on tweet volume, I suppose. Let's just quickly examine which those are. Maybe we'll keep our eyes open on these. Telcoin, that's right, TEL. We've seen it on top of bubbles frequently as of late. Yes, Telcoin is one of the top Twitterati posts. Polygon, aka Matic, Yes, Matic, about what you'd figure, judging by Matic's performance as of late. Matic, one of the top Twitter favorites. iExec, aka RLC. Yes.
I like how you can look at it and see how the sentiment highs are also the price highs. If you go back to Matic. Move
indeed. Up. Yep, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they certainly do coincide. So be warned. Don't take your trading advice, your investment advice from crypto Twitter. Does seem like whoever shills or screams the hardest gets the most attention. Matic, of course, on this list. RLC, we discussed. Solana, yes, Solana, one of the top shilled coins on crypto Twitter. And finally, Ethereum Classic, not quite what I expected, at least especially for this final entry. You guys surprised? I was thinking Sheeb or some other rug coin or another would have rounded out this list, but in fact, five relatively familiar nameplates leading the Twitter metrics. So there's a little something for today. Finally, this one's from Decrypt. BitMEX and the Human Rights Foundation grant $150,000 to researcher scaling Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX has awarded a grant for developer Calvin Kim worth about $100,000. The Human Rights Foundation whacked in another $50,000. Is this to explore Lightning applications? Let's see here. Bitcoin researcher has received additional funding to work on a project to scale Bitcoin. The UT Rexo project reduces Bitcoin's state size. BitMEX rewarded $100,000 to this gentleman here. Working.
I thought this story was really cool. So, for those of you who are kind of new to the industry, you must be wondering, how do you get quality developers to work on Bitcoin when no one is literally paid to work on Bitcoin by Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is just this blockchain that exists out there in the ether as this programming code that's maintained by a group of developers, and then there's obviously there's voting, yada yada yada. But and then miners decide whether or not they're going to implement the software that's produced by these developers. That's why, because otherwise they'll end up being a hard fork. Miners will just keep using the old stuff, and people will vote with their wallets, and they'll keep using whatever chain. So. To get quality developers, as the ecosystem has matured, large companies have begun offering grants to people who are very, very good at Bitcoin scripting, so that they can focus on that and continue to improve the chain rather than having to do it in their spare time. And this is one of those grants. So BitMEX has a grant, and as you can see, Coinbase has grants, and there are other companies. So that is sort of how the Bitcoin core developers, the main ones at least, they get paid through these grant processes.
Yeah, well explained. Indeed, it's nice that someone takes on the burden of paying these. Well, developers generally are doing this kind of pro bono, so to speak, and it's nice that foundations and grants exist to help, not to let Bitcoin just kind of go undeveloped on. In this case, they're working on this particular state size database that details who owns what, generally increases in size over time, creating additional. I'm not sure if this is the actual blockchain database itself or this state size database. Let's see here. So this Atrexo's algorithm promises significantly reduce Bitcoin state size from several gigabytes to less than a KB. And now, within the year's extra funding behind him, Ken can continue collaborating in the project since BitMEX started funding him last year. Yeah, I do remember this announcement last year when they first began funding him. So It's nice that someone is actually looking after the development. I think, yeah, you did mention Coinbase, of course, famously also, I think helps fund development on Bitcoin Core. I think Jack Dorsey and Square have granted some monies to developers to help build out Lightning a bit. Indeed, this goes to show you that even despite not having any kind of centralized governance or any kind of foundation behind Bitcoin, someone out there, somewhat altruistically.
It's in these companies' best interest that Bitcoin continue to be developed by expert professional developers who also who have a lot of experience in the system. Bitcoin could continue to just be developed by, a group of amateurs, whoever shows up and is willing to do the work.
Yeah.
And people do, kind of cut their teeth on, assisting with working on coding for Bitcoin and stuff. And they're completely unpaid in the process. But for people who really devote their time and stuff like that, obviously we want to encourage them. And it's just good capitalism, right? If Bitcoin succeeds, all the infrastructure that these companies have invested in will be worth a lot more.
For sure. It definitely follows a trend we've seen in the open source development world. You do see private companies paying professionals to develop on open source projects, typically in the world of Linux-based operating systems and those types of projects. Yeah, it's already an established way to do it, I suppose. And here it is on display in Bitcoin. All right, anything else I need to cover? I'm kind of out of time in the news segment, so it's time to dive in to the next one. Yes, you can spend crypto using Apple Pay now. Yes, thanks to this Coinbase tie-up. We've already covered this. All right, I think we are done for today. Let's head into the next segment. I'll probably save this for tomorrow. Again, kind of a rehash of something we already looked at. All right, here we go. Let's get into the live chat. Let's see who's with us here today. Let me just expand out the chat window a touch and greet our regulars of the live chat. Who do we have here? We have Ron Legato on YouTube. Apparently you were here first. Mr. Ether, you were right behind him. Right on Rice, on David Rice, I should say, on DLive. Joining us as well. Electric here, writing hello. Good to see you. GBU Professor Wally, Supfu. Yes. Also came in with a $20 super chat. Mr. Wally, thank you very much. He says, this dirty fiat has been burning a hole in my wallet, and I'm so glad the CC crew is back on YouTube so I can express my gratitude to them again. Learn, earn, and don't get burned. Yes, the famous Gumbot University Professor Wally. I do thank you for your $20 super chat. It is very appreciated. Thank you again. Let's see here. Dave Rice on YouTube. Hit that like button. You've heard the man. Do as he says. Bob the Builder. Sup party people. Yes, Bob the Builder joins us back on YouTube. It's Ponzi. Hey boys, hope everyone's having a good long weekend in the States. I hope it was good. Yep. Hope all our American compatriots had a good long weekend. Hondo on DLive writes, time for a green June. I certainly hope so. I'm ready for a bit of a market bounce. Please.
Yeah, my body is ready.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Crypto AF 2017 is here in the chat. Good to see you. Let's see here. Let's see. Alex81SG joins us on DLive. Vic Stacking Schloss says, hi everyone on YouTube. Welcome Vic. Blackbird987 on DLive. Hey, hey, hey. Rhino TD says, afternoon gents. Good to see you. I see your request, Crypto AF. He's asking us to talk about Ethereum and Link today. I'm sure Alex will dive into both of those in his main analysis now that we've noted it. Crypto Bull 21 Snapple fact. DLive is 19 seconds ahead of YouTube. Yeah, I remember those Snapple facts. Snapple was a big drink back in the day. You guys remember Snapple facts? You guys remember Snapple?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Snapple's still around. It's not like it's gone.
I feel like it's definitely taken a backseat. Not nearly as popular of a beverage as it once was. But
Maybe that's just you, man. I mean, I'm all about that Snapple life.
wow, damn. Still have
How do you
some
think I learned so much? Just Snapple fact after Snapple fact, man. Just
man, sounds like you
picking up that knowledge.
paid into your Snapple University tuition, did you? All right.
Yeah.
It's Ponzi is here with us as well. I think I already mentioned it. Mike Maker, howdy all. Shoutouts to Mike Maker. Taz Blitz is in the D Live chat. He says, I'm up about 20% on my BTC, but my bags of alts, I can live with that for now. But 20% on my... Okay, maybe he means he's down 20%, so he's up on Bitcoin. So he might have hedged his Bitcoin, increasing his Bitcoin stack, but I think you meant to say 20% down on my bags of alts, and you can live with it for now. Yeah, I think if you're only down 20% on your alt bags, you survived a lot of the carnage. Yeah. Mika Smith on YouTube. It's been a while. Well, Mika Smith, it's nice to have you back. Alex81SG, do you think we'll ever see ADA below $1, assuming no disasters in the fundamentals? Well, we'll explore the ADA chart. Hang on to that idea.
You can always buy it cheaper, buddy.
Yep, take whatever impossible price you can project and go one lower. All right, let's call out the last few people in the live chat and get right into the show. In my mind, MF, howdy y'all, made it. Yes, we certainly did make it. Howdy to you. Let's see here. I see your request, Crypto Bull. Hang tight. Let's have a look. Mr. Ether says, I don't understand this part of the show. Not sure which part that is, but thank you. Oh, is it the bubbles part? Let's thank you. Oh, I think that's what he's referring to, is the bubbles and their awkward calculation for daily gains. Thanks for streaming and Discord. Okay, my pleasure, Miss Sim Watch. Thank you. Let's see stuff. I see your request. We'll get to that. All right. Someone says they're in the Discord a lot under another name. Well, I see. Finally, we have TurkBot117 writing, we are England. Yes, TurkBot is back, but it's not one of those Turks, just somebody with a good sense of humor. And we also have Ron Legato, I already mentioned. Style Kabaluzzo on Twitch, waving hello. Shoutouts to you. Revolution, Trippy Tuesday, everyone. Yeah, I guess it is kind of a Trippy Tuesday. Let's see here. Does anyone uses Samsung SoFi wallet on their Galaxy devices? You know what? I have played with it a little bit, but I have not used it extensively. I hear it's decent though. It's Ponzi. NFTs are still a joke until it really takes off in gaming. You know, I do agree with you. I think one of the biggest utilities is going to be seeing a major publishing studio take a foray into the NFT crypto space. Magnus Von Fuel on DLive is here.
Or we'll make a false thing going.
And finally, we have, I think that's about everyone, guys. I got to get into the next segment. So Dean Verelst, or Iced, Dean Verelst, Steam items could be described as an NFT. Not quite yet.
No.
Not quite yet, but
yeah, those are just entries in somebody's centralized database.
Exactly. But indeed, the aspirations are that one day they could very well be. Let's have a look. I think that's about everyone. Yes, Sandman's with us. I see your request. Hang on, we will get to that very shortly. And Playboy Cardi joins us on Twitch, writing, what wallets exchanges do y'all recommend? Well, I guess it depends where you are in the world, but I like Ledger hardware wallets. MetaMask is a good browser wallet. Exodus is a good desktop wallet. As far as exchanges, again, depends on your jurisdiction, but seems like everybody likes, Coinbase for American buying, Binance for your ultimate shitcoin casino, and I think Bybit is a pretty good margin leverage futures exchange. But hopefully that answers some of that. All right, is this everybody? I think this is everybody. He wants to be able to store altcoins. Maybe Exodus. Yes, I see it's already been answered. How about that? RK joins us on YouTube, thank you, RK. Smiles J just got back from the casino weekend. Glad to see y'all live this morning. Thank you, Smiles J. Hope you had a fruitful trip to the casino. All right.
Hopefully, at least broke even.
Cheese Burglar on YouTube writes, yo. Okay, Cheese Burglar, welcome to the show. Keep your hands off the lemons. And TS Julia Joy writes, nice. I don't understand anything about this, but I like it. All right, well, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying your stay. Let's get into the next segment. Once again, thank you to everybody joining us this afternoon. And here we go. We're going to get into what you're all here for. That is, of course, the analysis from our lead analyst here at CC. Let's get into it. I just connected to Alex's stream. He's currently looking at the BTC USDT one-day chart, and we are in. All right, this is where I'm gonna dive into the live chat, start collecting everyone's requests. I noticed people did post a few requests. Feel free to repost them or get your requests in now. We'll be getting to the request section shortly. In the meantime, Alex, take it away. I'll be in the background.
Well, I'd basically classify us as still just moving sideways right now. We did break this. We did break the downtrend yesterday. We've wandered upwards a little bit, and we could still move up a little bit more here, but it could go either way. I still see some liquidity below us that I wouldn't be surprised if we reached down and tagged. See a little bit here on Binance chart. Let's look at a couple other markets. Maybe not. I don't see a whole lot of liquidity still below us. At least on Bitcoin. On Ethereum and the alts, that's a little bit more clear, as you can see right here, where price would want to go if price wandered into this area. That's what we're trying to figure out. Like, this can't tell us price will go here next, but if price breaks down, these are the areas where it's going to want to head to. These are areas of liquidity. Let's see, same spot here on Ethereum. Well, for right now, if that was helpful there for a second. If we break down here, I don't see us going much below 32,000, 31,000. I would look to be buying as we broke down into that area. It looked bigger on the daily chart, but on lower time frames you can see we would just kind of dip down into this area, kind of scare people out of their longs. People puke up their positions, and then those are snatched up by larger interests, and then we kind of complete what we have drawn out here. I can't remember which viewer yesterday said that this is what he was kind of looking for. I guess it could still go either way, but it could go either way from here. Maybe we just start going up and we don't retest the lows. That I don't know. But one way or another, I'd be a buyer in this area, and I would be looking to take this back towards 45,000, 50,000 on Bitcoin, and then same for Ethereum. If we got down here near 2,100, near 1,900, I'd be buying in those areas and look to take that back up towards 3,500. I really like this area up here. It's a nice consolidation area. Shows up well on VPVR. So this is our resistance where I do expect us to tag this area right here before before we go any lower, if we do go any lower. But I do think I'm still expecting a retest of this trend line. So we either do that by going sideways up here, or we do that by coming down here. But I think we got to come back towards our weekly trend on Ethereum. This is our weekly log trend. So that could see us all the way back near 1,300, 1,400. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But before that happens, I think I want to see us back near 3,500. So as I said, there's some liquidity below us, and if it got tagged, I wouldn't be surprised. But I want to see us up here before we have a real leg down.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's with the narrative that you're starting to see with like the media and stuff, everyone talking about how longs are getting heavy and stuff like that. I really do think that this will be one of the few times that you see, oh, we actually do pump up, but then it traps a ton of longs. Because I think we do turn back around from there and then really have that test.
Where people kind of get long on spot and then start leveraging up on the way up.
Yeah, and then once we start like getting out of this little inverse head and shoulders, I think we pop up, and then everyone's like, "Oh, here we go!" And then that's when everyone loads up a little bit more and just gets wrecked. Because like I always just try to think about what would cause the most pain in the market, and people are really easily influenced. That we had 2 days of up, it's just gonna go up. Like, you know how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, right now it's just kind of figuring out that timing, because I do think we get both. I think we get a dip down and that dip up. I think we get the up and then the down first. So that's kind of how I'm playing it right now, and how I'm setting up with bottom feeder as well as my head.
Not ready for that. I want to look at alts first. Bitcoin dominance is sideways today, down yesterday. I'd say overall, alts and Bitcoin are kind of fighting it out right here. Neither of them are much gaining on the other. So I don't think there's much for us to see that we haven't already commented on. We've got the break of the downtrend, and now we're waiting to see if we get a full reversal here. On higher time frames, it could still go either way. Or maybe we break down a little further on the other side of this trend. I don't really know. But having broken this very, very firm downtrend, I can't help but feel that it's likely to presage a reversal here, where more money goes into Bitcoin than the alts, or money leaves Bitcoin or money leaves alts into the Bitcoin. Still lots of resistance overhead here on Uniswap perp. Kind of where we were expecting. On Dragon perp, we're kind of nowhere near the resistance area that we had marked out here. This is one of the reasons why I feel like it's more likely that we retest the lows here, make a higher low still, and that before we retest highs. This is all the way down here, the lows here on DeFi perp, so that's like a 30% drop. All of these look very similar. Nothing's really diverging right now. We've got a lot of resistance overhead here. Depending on how you want to draw it, we are starting to get some trend breaks. So you can see I've got this drawn out, and this seems to be working. But not so here on Shitperp, which is almost a vertical trend, but Yeah. It just doesn't look super bullish at this time, guys. And even if we had a few more up days, I feel like that's our opportunity to sell out of our positions that we might have bought on the dip. Okay, so we got a sneak peek earlier. The dollar is sideways today. Let's see. Just kind of hanging out inside of support right now. Still looks like it's forming a bottom at support. Well, if the dollar is slightly up, then markets are probably still up today, right? I mean, look, everything that trades against the dollar is up. Slightly up. Oof. Oh, no. So, well, that's kind of the gap fill that we've been looking for, right? We finally overnight, we pushed all the way up to resistance and then just sold down all day long to where we are now. That's what we see here. So we open here, we gap up on open on the Dow, sell down all day long. What's that look like? It was like instantly sold down within like an hour. It was all gone. Okay, well, I guess we can begin to classify the Dow as at resistance for our purposes. NASDAQ, uh-oh. All right, so we closed here. That means we gapped up on open, traded up just a little, and then thud, push down, trade up. Probably more downside here. We are at resistance, but well, we could crawl up into this area some more, and it wouldn't be that surprising to me. We're getting an exit signal here on time transformation. Very rough looking here for the NASDAQ. Same story on the S&P today. We gapped up on open. So we closed here. We gapped up on open from overnight buying. Just sold down all day long. And we're still selling. Right at resistance too. So this is where we've been kind of looking. We were looking for this area to be pegged. I think we talked about this last time. If you're wondering where I got this trend line, that is a weekly trend line that we are starting to cross over. I gotta say, I think things look pretty rough here for the S&P. So we can actually... Fine. I think if I had to choose to be long here or short here, I think I would much prefer to be short here on the S&P, right? We're right at resistance. We're right at this narrowing volatility ascending wedge pattern. It's a weekly pattern, but still very valid pattern. I think it looks pretty rough, guys. Interestingly, the Russell's up today. Russell is the small cap stocks. All right, well, what if small cap stocks actually go for it here? What would that look like? So it looks kind of like we had like this fake out breakdown, and now we're back above support and resistance. So what if this part here was fake? The NASDAQ and the Dow can still crumble, but small businesses have a great summer because everybody's out of their homes and not ordering stuff on Amazon anymore. So what if that's the narrative here? What if that's what we need to be looking for in equities? So big tech stocks go down, small businesses go up, maybe? Let's do a measured move. What would that look like? What would that look like?
Yeah, the Russell looks strong there.
Well, I mean, it certainly looks much, much stronger than it did last week.
Yeah, it looks like a bull pennant.
Okay. Well, that would take us right around 2,500 on the Russell. Maybe. At the very least, I think we could see a retest of the highs around 2,400 on the Russell. So there could be reason to look into small caps here. And of course, we know the S&P and the NASDAQ are both very rough looking here. Bonds are sideways and down today. 2-year down, 5-year down, 10-year was down, 30-year down. But this is just kind of hanging out around the point of control. This is still relatively bottoming behavior. I wouldn't be too concerned about this. Last week we looked and European stocks were looking pretty strong. Is that still true? Singapore is not in Europe. This actually looks like it's hanging around resistance. I wouldn't be too interested in Singapore. Netherlands also is like at resistance. I could understand if you wanted to long here because it's above our daily baseline, but I wouldn't do any buying at resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Japan, arguably being rejected from resistance. Like that. That's kind of hard to see. 1 second. Maybe it was just fine the way it was. It's just higher time frame. Anyway, I'm not super interested in being a buyer here. I'd be interested in selling here and taking it all the way down to 26,400 rather. See some nice liquidity right here, down here. India's going for it. And that inverse head and shoulders I had drawn out 2 months ago looks like it just may complete. So this is where a completed pattern would take us to right around 15.8, measuring from bottom to top of the pattern, or top to bottom rather, I suppose. UK is not necessarily too bad looking here. Hong Kong showing a little bit of strength. I like this break of the trend right here. I would look to take this up here on Hong Kong towards 32. France. Strength? It did make a new all-time high. Just today. I guess we'll see more strength in France. China at resistance, not super interested. Australia made a new all-time high yesterday, but still looks an awful lot like it's at resistance. Big day on wheat. Could see continuation here. If you look at this, sellers are stepping in stronger and stronger. You can see by the trend line of sellers here. So here's how much sellers are stepping at this price point. Slope here steeper, slope here even steeper. That's interesting. You know, I wonder what the best way to read that information is. Should we be looking for another retest at the top and then sellers finally overpower buyers on the next push down? Because this trend line is getting real steep, right? Or should we see this as sellers getting exhausted in the face of heavy buying, and then once sellers are just like out of supply, I mean, they're pushing real strong here, and then boom, buyers instantly take back over. You just see wheat take off in this spot. Why don't we keep our eyes on that? And you kind of get a feel for what this information is telling us. These trend lines are telling us how strongly sellers are stepping in, right? How much did price push down over time? That's what the slope of the trend is. Price over time. So as you can see, this is steeper. It's moving more price over time, even steeper, more price over less time. Okay. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it. Natural gas looks pretty strong here. Corn retesting the highs. We're still holding the uptrend, so I wouldn't do anything with it at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Brent crude right at resistance, just hanging out in the liquidity of the high. I would not do anything with it at this time. This could be a fake out. I would wait for something more convincing. All right, why don't we go ahead and look at chart requests?
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I got a decent amount of requests already logged. Let's see here. Any other late requests coming in? Guys, we got room for a few more, so don't have to inundate us, but we could probably stomach to handle a few more. Let's get into the first request. Let me hide this graphic here first and reveal the first request on the request line today. Perfect. Here we have Crypto AF 2017 coming in from Twitch with the following request. Please talk about Ethereum and Link today. I imagine you probably touched on Ethereum already. Yeah. Let's have a look at Link.
Okay. Looks about the same. I would not be a buyer right here at resistance, essentially. You can see this area is resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. We're right up against that area again. So I would try and see if we can get a retest of the lows again. If so, be a buyer near $20. And if we get down there, $16. But at this point, I don't think it makes sense to be a buyer right here. You're like in the middle of the trading range. And if it went either way, I mean, it could go either way. It's just like, bam, smack in the middle of the trading range. If, gosh. I don't know. You know, it's showing a little strength on lower time frames, but I don't I could just easily see it go up for an hour or two and then boom, to retest the bottom. So it just on the daily, this is telling us there's just nothing to do right now. Wait until we get above the daily baseline, and then potentially it could be a really good long. But before that happens, we could retest as low as $16. So just exercise a little bit of patience here, and hopefully you'll be able to get a better price. What's next?
All right, there is a good look at Lake for Crypto AF. Let's dive into this next question. This one comes from Alex81SG. Let's see if it fits on the screen. I think it does. Do you think we will ever see Cardano below $1, assuming no disasters? Yes. Let's take a look. Can we plot course toward $1 Cardano?
Yeah, I do think we will. That's where my buy zone is. I imagine that because we have not made any lower lows since February, that we'll probably get a flush of this area at least once. I'd look to be buying around 75 cents. That's where Alex of the Past has this area marked out, and I still like it. I also see a little bit of liquidity down here in right below there, between 70 and 65 cents. But I like 75 cents. You see, we pushed down in this area before. There were a lot of eager buyers here. We push down, buyers take it, and then just off we go. So yes, I do think we can. We may still test $2.10 before we push down, but as long as the rest of the market remains bearish, then ADA will come down and retest that area. But if it doesn't, then hey, find something else. There'll be plenty of opportunities to make money because everything will be going up. And then just wait until the bear market, and I promise you, we'll end up way below $1.
Yeah.
What's that?
All right, there is your look at Cardano. Indeed, might very well back the truck up and pick up some Cardano sub $1. Jason, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, with my system on the 13, ADA was a solid long, so we took that. We're currently up a little bit on it, but I think that ADA has a little push left in it myself.
All right, another potential move to the upside according to Jason. Let's dive into the next one. It's Crypto Bull 21 coming in with the following request: AVAX USDT, Avalanche USD. Let's take a look.
Well, I guess we don't need that anymore. Unfortunately, I feel like AVAX is going to do what everything else does here. If everything doesn't go down and retest the lows, then AVAX can move up with everything else. So I kind of feel like this is not very useful advice, because AVAX is just going to do what everything else does. But one thing I can tell you is let's look for where we might look for resistance if we do bounce up here. Yeah, I could see us push as high as... You can see us push as high as right around $25. So presuming we break up here, I would look to I'd begin taking profits around $25. Maybe we could push up to the point of control. I don't really know. But if we do continue to break down here, then I would be a buyer around $13 or so. You can see the liquidity of this wick right here. Just kind of pop down here, trade down here a little bit, get people scared, and then up we go. So yeah, as I've been saying all show, I don't know what order it's going to happen in, but these are the areas that are important. I'd be looking towards. What's next?
All right, we also have DOT USDT for Crypto Bull.
Well, I think you guys can see where I'm targeting here. And there's so much liquidity in this spot. I think you can also see why I would be targeting $16 here on DOT if we did break down. But maybe we wouldn't even get much below $18. It's just, yeah, this is the point of control. For very good reason, this is where I would be looking to for us to test if we went low, and then if we went high, $30 or so is where I'd be looking to take profits. Like everything else, I have no idea what order it's going to happen in. What's next?
Okay, there would be your look at DOT and Avalanche. Shoutouts to Crypto Bull. Next up is Micah Smith on YouTube. I don't request stuff much, he says, but do me a solid and look at COPE. Yeah, Micah or Micah. I guess Micah.
Just can't cope.
Yeah, let's look at the COPE token.
Oh.
Hard COPE.
Okay, I guess GDXJ it is. Looks like shit, man. This can't be right. If this is the coin, there's got to be something else. All right, so all right, I will give it one opportunity that it's something that isn't on
FTX.
Any of those places.
It's on FTX. There should be something called COPE USD when you look it up on TradingView. FTX token.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Indeed, yeah.
I see no reason why you would want to buy this here. There's just no guarantee that this is even real support or that it's going to hold here. There were some buyers here, but we could just keep pushing through. I say leave it alone.
I too like to catch bottoms down here. All right, I think we've covered COPE sufficiently. Anything else come to mind on that one? Ready to go into the next one?
Next
it is. Here we go. Shout outs to Mr. Smith for that one. Hex for Sandman on YouTube. Yeah, let's entertain Hex very briefly.
It seems like every time we entertain it, it's going back up. Pretty solid rejection there.
Yeah.
Double top.
You could argue that we're still within, say, an ascending triangle pattern. Draw it out this way too on log. Maybe, but I don't see any reason to be a buyer right here. You're in the middle of the trading range. Mm-hmm. I think it could still go, but if you're looking to buy, I would wait for a close above 6.5 cents before I took that trade. What's next?
Okay, there you have it. There's Hex, and let's get right into the next one. Mike Maker as well as Blackbird 987 both want to look at Stellar XLM. Blackbird writing XLM is breaking out, guys. Any upside targets? Yeah, let's explore XLM. Is it indeed breaking out?
I mean, it's had a better day than a lot of other coins. I think if you're on lower time frames, I'm sure it looks like it's really going for it. But I think we're looking towards 50 cents and 55 cents are the upside targets here. And then on the low side, we're looking towards 30 cents. You see liquidity right here. It's liquidity of the wick. And then ultimately, we're looking for a return towards 20 cents, 15 cents. What's next?
All right, there is your look at Stellar, guys. Let's dive into the next request. This one comes from David Rice. He wants to look at Cardano and ZIL. All right, I think we already looked at Cardano, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Zilqua is next. As for the chest, 25 minutes to go.
Resistance. First area of resistance we're looking at is 15 cents.
And ZIL. All right, I think we already looked.
And then the low we're looking towards is 8 cents, 7 cents. I think it makes a little bit more sense. Look just a little bit higher here. Whoops, not that high. All right, so yeah, we're still looking towards 15 cents, I think, for the move. What's next?
All right, there would be ZIL. Let's dive into the next one. New user, Razor Blur on Twitch asks, what about what you'd expect from a new user? Should I buy Bitcoin?
Yes, always.
Answer is yes.
PCA into it.
Yes, just average in. Don't put all your eggs, of course, in one basket, and buy a little bit at a time. Make it a long-term savings plan to buy, you know, what you can reasonably afford once a week, once a month. That's probably your best strategy into Bitcoin, and probably the easiest way for us to answer that question.
Yeah, if you spent $50 a week all during the bear market, you'd have like $60,000 in Bitcoin right now. No joke.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's get into the next question or request. It comes from Polly B on DLive. They want to look at AXS. Axis?
All right.
What is AXS coin?
It's Axis. I mean, it's just one more shitcoin. It looks like everything else. I think this one looks worse than other things look. A lot of other things we've looked at, I thought, you know, it could still go up. This one really looks like it just wants to go down. Support, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. I would not be a buyer here. Maybe look to be buying around $3.40, $3. And then resistance looks to be kind of like this spot. Where'd you go? There we go. Okay, it makes sense. Resistance, consolidation, support, 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 breakdown. So, yeah, I would do absolutely nothing with Axis right now. Unless you're already long, in which case I would wonder if maybe I should take profits when time transformation crosses down. What's next?
All right, excellent. Thank you for a look at this Axis, or is it called Axie? I think it's called Axie Infinite, or Axie Infinity is its actual project name, but I will refer to it as Axis. Let's get into the next one. Before I do, let's see here, a couple of comments in the live chat here. Yes, Blackbird writes, the ABB rule, Rhino TD clarifies that's the always buy Bitcoin. Damn straight. Yes, Blackbird 987 also writes, Bitcoin $100,000 will be a thing in the future. Indeed, I think even the $1 million Bitcoin will likely be something we'll see by the end of the decade.
Yeah, I give that a decade. I give the million a decade.
Yeah, $1 million Bitcoin eventually a decade. I know the parabolic gains are mostly over with. I know if you're in it to make crazy money to turn $1,000 into $1 million, you know, you might want to gamble on a much riskier asset. But Bitcoin,
Don't tell people to gamble.
Yeah, come on, don't say that.
yes, exactly. You know,
I just got
Bitcoin.
back to you.
Bitcoin has more, you know, more, I guess, long-term prospects. It is a safer, I think, long-term bet. Of course, it comes, it doesn't bring maybe the super frothy exponential gains you really want, but
Man, you do a really shitty job of selling Bitcoin to people, dude.
I think it's a reality. I think especially if you're a new user, you know, you can't, I don't want to, you know, fool anybody into thinking that, you know, it's going to perform like the next 10 years is going to perform like the first 10 years. It's important to kind of note that it has a different risk profile now, and the returns are mitigated as a result. So you do have to take on more risk if you want the bigger, frothier gains. Not to downplay Bitcoin a bit. Again, it's a safer bet. Let's get in to the next request. We have Poly B as well with WRX. Yes, one of the top gainers on bubbles today. WRX.
It's like a shitty brand at Home Depot. It's called Works.
I can only think of the Subaru when I see this name.
It has a WRX on it. It's called Works, and it doesn't work.
Looks like it's at resistance to me right now. I would try and see if you can pick it up on some kind of retest of support right now. Maybe a retest of the daily baseline. Yeah, on the daily at least, there's nothing we can do with it. It's you know, it was just instantly above our qualifying line. Stayed there. Just don't do anything for right now.
All right, nothing doing on WRX. Let's get into the next one. This one's WXT for David Rice. He writes, can we look at WXT? It's on KuCoin. That's the one.
I mean, it's interesting, but there's nothing you can do with that.
Yeah, I guess if you know something that apparently the market doesn't know, then by all means go ahead and try and catch this knife. But you why is it near all-time lows when everything else is hanging out near all-time highs? Why? Is Wyrex is that based on Stellar? Was this built on Stellar?
Now that I don't know off the top of my head. Let's have a look.
So yeah, it could make sense if you've got a damn good reason that you're buying it here. You know something the market doesn't, and then hey, sure, we're hanging out at the lows. Maybe it's just a retest of the lows. But why? What if we trade sideways for another year before we take off, just like this? Like, oh look, I caught the lows. I caught the lows. Yay! Okay, what now? Wait, what now? Oh, I'm gonna sell in January of the new year because it traded sideways for a fucking year. Boom! It takes off. Because fuck you.
That's usually when it happens, right? The moment you can't deal with it anymore.
So I just don't see anything to recommend it to us.
Yeah, to clarify, Alex, you are correct. It is a reward token that powers the Extras reward program for the YRX token. It's built on Stellar as well as Ethereum, designed to help reward YRX customers for their loyalty and integrate the platform with a new generation of decentralized finance. So there you go, WXT, the reward token. 4% back on every time you use your YRX card in WXT. Okay, that clarifies what WXT is. Let's get into the next one. David Rice, hopefully that covers it. Let's get into this one. 1 inch, did it die? He asks. Is 1 inch dead? Let's take a look.
I mean, no more than anything else did. I still like this area to be a buyer. $1.75, $2, $1.50, somewhere in there. And if we push up, I could see us pushing as high as $4, $3.75. So again, I don't know what direction we're going to go in, but these are the areas of interest.
And don't forget, people, that we could range sideways for a while. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be a direction right now. Like, we could range.
Next.
All right, next up is Vet, user by the name of Miss Simwatch on DLive. Have you talked about Vet yet? No, here comes the Vet now. Damn, Alex, your laptop's fan is going absolutely bonkers.
We've
It's
got
a
to sell off.
down market.
So we've got to sell off, goddammit. My computer must be lacking because it's not going nuts.
Well, I'm also sharing my screen and all those other things.
You doing a lot, boys?
TKO? Look at TKO. Why is TKO up so much?
Because it's a technical knockout. I don't know.
Well, it's a little late for us, unfortunately. That's kind of interesting looking. Sorry, what were we just looking at? I got surprised out of the corner of my eye.
It's
I saw a
okay.
big
It's we were looking at Vet for Miss Simwatch.
Yeah. So I kind of hope that everything does what TKO over there did, and Ren to some extent did, but for right now, I see us at resistance on Vet, and if we fall here, I could see us retest 6 cents or maybe 8 cents. These are the areas I'm looking at below us. Am I still looking for this area down here?
Seems like you're looking at it.
Not in the near term. This is if we have like a big collapse. Yeah, I think this makes sense for where we would retest if we just stayed in this range. And then if we break down below this range, we'll probably end up down here. Yeah. I would be extremely cautious right now. It's not necessarily dip buying time. What's next?
All right, about 12 minutes to go, DLive users, for that lemon giveaway. Stand by for that. Let's look at a couple of comments here in the live chat. Electric says, the fan has spoken. Yes, the fan is a bit of an oracle when it comes to chart. Yeah, when it comes to revealing what the market is about to do. Let's have a look. Rhino TD says that's a sell signal on Bitcoin right there. Alex's laptop is never wrong. This is the way. Says it's Ponzi. Dan Verelst says, get this man a 3090. If only 3090s all around, please. Finally, Bflow says, need this to range right now so my alts can pump so I can get the GTFO out of these positions higher up. Andrew Munz, uranium sector is about to blow up. All right, we'll take a look at uranium in a little bit. In the meantime, let's get into the next request. It's BTT, BitTorrent token from Mike Maker.
Looks like everything else.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice when charts look a little bit different here because it's been the same thing over and over, right? Once we get out of this range, once we pick a direction.
I no longer like this area. This volume is pretty interesting. So most likely, if we break up, we'll move up to retest 0.5 cent, maybe 0.6 of a cent. And then if we break lower, I see volume all the way down here at 2 tenths or a quarter of a cent. Yeah, quarter. Yeah. Sorry, guys. These denominations less than a cent are killer. But yeah, that's I believe that's where things are. I would be pretty cautious here. At least we've got the break of the more parabolic downtrend. We can still test across it though. So, what's next?
All right.
It's your Doge
It's
boy.
Ponzi writes, I put $5 into BitTorrent token a long time ago, and it's made me 50, the best to buy in terms of percentage. Well, I'm glad you made away like a bandit on BitTorrent token. Maybe pick up the team a McDonald's $50 gift card with your fat gains there, homie. All right, let's get into the next one. Less than 10 minutes to go now for the chest opening.
Yeah, I can think of nothing more luxurious than a McDonald's gift card.
Well, with only $50 in gains to show after the bull market is over, there's not a whole lot. I mean, we can't exactly get Birkin bags for everybody, can we? Next up is
Extra Mac.
Danver Elst. Doge, please. Okay, Doge is up next.
Why do it to yourself, buddy? Why?
Why do it to yourself?
Well, maybe we're starting to look a little bit more bullish here. Still not guaranteed that we'll move up, but we have broken out of the ascending wedge. I would just wait for a little bit more. We could still retest slower right here. We're just kind of trading sideways out of this thing. Yeah, we could still retest 26 cents. But the good news is I believe after we get one more retest down, we'll move up on Doge. This does look like it's going to break upwards. So I would look to be taking it towards 50 cents, 55 cents. But I don't know if like today is the day to buy it. I'm just not sure. As you guys know, I don't know if we're gonna retest lower here, or if we're just gonna go up. Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. There you go. There's your look at Doge. Just a few minutes now to go for that chest. All right. As far as requests go, guys, we're literally at the limit. We're bursting at the seams. I will certainly log any further requests, but there's no guarantees we will be able to get out most of these.
Yeah, what happened? We didn't have enough requests yesterday.
Now we are overflowing requests, including FX requests coming in as we speak, but we get to those in a bit. In the meantime, Boris Bitcoin, you're up next. GDXJ. What is GDXJ? Is this a stock?
Must be.
Some kind of indice? Oh, Van Eck, Junior Gold, gotcha.
Gold miners ETF.
Yeah, juniors, yep.
Not much to really do with it, man. It's cool that we broke out of this downtrend. But yeah, it just doesn't look that special to me. Resistance overhead. Yeah. Is there something special you wanted me to look at, Boris? I just don't see anything here.
Nothing too special there, but let's continue as we are low on time and there's still so many requests to cover. Boris, if you drop any further questions, I'll cover that. But in the meantime, Z Deegan on D-Live, what's your take on Hex and Pulse Chain? All right, well, very quickly, I don't think we're huge fans. I don't think we're huge fans. We did the Hex already. But of course, Richard Hart well, he's managed to execute on Hex, and a lot of people anticipate Pulse might not find a lot of traction within the crypto community, but it might very well.
It's been 2 years. What does Hex do again?
Well, it's the digitized certificate of deposit on the blockchain. Does what a lot of other DeFi.
It stakes. It fucking stakes. It doesn't do shit. That's what I think about Hex. It's been 2 years and it doesn't do shit.
It pumps and it gets shilled good. The Hex believers are. I mean, they've been somewhat vindicated. Look, I totally would agree with you, Alex. As you can see, this is it's not particularly favorable.
The hardest. Yeah, the number went up. But if you ask us what we think about the blockchains, what the fuck does it do? It doesn't do anything. Richard Hart has made tens of millions of dollars on it, and how much money has he put in development? Big fat goose egg, guys.
All right, I love it. Very hot take from Alex on Hex. Yes, numbers gone up, but we're not the biggest fans. I presume Pulse will do something similar. It might very well go up. I don't know exactly the mechanics of this Ethereum fork known as Pulse. Will it be an airdrop to existing? Will it be, to existing Ethereum holders, so to speak? Not too sure. Might very well perform decently if Hex is any indication. But we're not going to find huge fans of Hex or Pulse or even Richard Hart to some degree. I like Richard. I'm kind of split on Richard, but I kind of like the guy. He's a straight shooter to some degree, even if people don't like the way he
straight
shows.
Shooter to some degree.
Yeah, I think he spits some truth. I like Richard Hart. I know not everybody does, but that's our thoughts on Hex and Pulse. In the meantime, nice hash login on YouTube. Can we look at KEANU on ChartX? All right, KEANU on ChartX.
Why do you guys do this to yourself?
They like being blown out of their seats by John Wick.
Glutton for punishment.
Yes, the deadliest chart in all of crypto. I bring you KEANU Wick.
Well, it looks like it is so cheap that it bounced off of being unable to be worth less than it was.
Perfect.
I don't know. Maybe it could go up. Do you have some special knowledge about this? What if it just goes down instead? What if the entire market tanks? Hey, I just don't see anything special. Maybe it could go up. It's got a decent amount of liquidity and volume, but with this much data and with how many meme coins there are on the market, why?
All right, there is the latest installment in the Crypto Inu series. Yes, another Inu meme coin play in the works. But I guess judging by that chart, doesn't look too bad. But indeed, why would you? But thank you for bringing that one to our request line. Rhino TD's next. Can we take a look at gold? Also, how we do it on? All right, about 40 seconds to go for the chest. I'll introduce this next one. Can we look at gold? I'm looking for a good re-entry as I closed my long earlier today. All right, closed this gold long. Where to re-enter?
Either back towards 1840 or maybe even 1780.
Got about a minute till them lemons coming out.
What I tell you guys about the resistance that we had up in this area. Yeah, I could see why you would close it out here. We're not... Maybe we're topped out. Maybe we got a little bit more to go, but we're certainly getting to the place where starting to get a little topped out. We gonna do the chest or what's next?
Yeah, let's get into that chest, Ben. Yep, he's just deploying it now, guys. There is your chest being distributed now. Let me see if I can get it on screen very briefly. Yep, here's a little preview of my chest prompt. It looks like this. If you're on DLive, this is what you're looking for. Lemons have been distributed. Here are today's big winners. Let me just put this on screen. Shoutouts to Rhino TD. You took away 217 lemons. Blackbird with 125 lemons. Crypto Bull with 90. It's Ponzi with 72. And Electric with 60 lemons.
That's
Excellent.
incredible. That's almost $6,000 in lemons right there.
I think that's more closer to 2 billion, but
Epic lemon giveaway. Don't spend it all in one place, gentlemen. But yes, shout out to the big lemon winners. All right, here we go, guys. This is the final 15 minutes of the show. This is where we are going to get through the remaining requests. Did we wrap your thoughts on gold? I think you did, right?
Yes.
All right, gold in the bag. Shout outs to Rhino TD for that one. Here we go. This one's from X Windor on Twitch. RSR and Uni. Sure, let's look at those.
This looks like everything else, man. I guess a good place to be looking to exit would be all the way up here at 74 cents. If we move up. Otherwise, I would look for a retest of the point of control all the way down here at 2 cents. SAR and Uni USDT. Ugh. Someone rescue me from all these charts that look the same. I don't expect much more upside on Uni here. Maybe we could push up towards $33. See, maybe this resistance area right here. I see just way more downside for Uni. I'd want whoops. I want to be picking it up like near $11, $14, maybe. We'll definitely be retesting this area. I just don't know when. What's next?
All right, there's your look, X window at those two. Let's get into this one. What are these coins, Z Deegan, that you bring us today? Is Turtle Coin and ACOIN a good buy, he asks. All right, first off, are these things even chartable? Let's take a look. Turtle Coin. The gains just come crawling in. Turtle Coin, TRTL is the ticker. And it's trades on KuCoin. Top trading.
Oh, it's on KuCoin.
It's on KuCoin. TRTL.
We're gonna have to use this because maybe. Here's the problem. There's not enough liquidity here on Uniswap, and there's actually there's way more data here on Jesus, I must be looking at a different one. Doesn't look like that good of a buy. I don't see any reason to be buying on higher time frames. What was the second one?
God.
I think it's Alchemy. Don't buy it, man. Don't buy it. I don't even need to look at the chart. Just don't fucking buy it.
Go buy his album.
Go buy synthetics. Go buy Ave. Go buy some project that has some worth. Don't buy something fucking ACOIN bullshit. Okay, well maybe they'll fucking use it in Wakanda. Okay, but until then, there's just no reason. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, there's not even a good place to chart Yobit stuff here. I'm sorry, man. That's how shitty that shitcoin is. I got SKL here. It's on my watch list. Yeah.
No, SKO.
It's just not there yet. I say wait for a break of resistance. At this point, we could still end up coming down and end up trading down here. And if we do, this is date. Sorry, price. Why? It's a 50% drop back down to retest this area of support. Should price do that? Let's go back down to the daily. Certainly looks like we might have wicked up into resistance here, got rejected. So what if this is a descending wedge pattern? Where would that take us? Oh my goodness, that's actually even lower than the area that I was targeting. I'd be cautious here. What's next?
Okay, we have SKL done. Only a couple requests still remaining. We should be able to clear these off the board before we wrap today's show. Next one up is for 10x Nino on YouTube. Can you check True FI USDT on Binance 4 hour? True FI Binance 4 hour.
What's the ticker?
It's TRUEFI, I believe. That's the one.
Okay.
There we go.
That's True USDT.
Yes.
TRU. I see literally no reason to buy it right now.
Nope. None whatsoever.
I guess it's cool that it's hanging over support for now. But we don't even have a buy signal yet. Just don't do anything with it. What's next?
All right, nothing doing. Could you look at it on the 4 hour? He did request a 4 hour specifically. Let's just entertain him very briefly on the 4 hour.
It looks worse. Get out.
Get out.
Yeah. Now it looks like it's just reversing. At least on the daily, you could be like, oh, well, it's bouncing off of support right here. But yeah, I don't see any reason to be in it right now. As you can see, we're still below it on the daily baseline. We're still below the daily baseline. We're below zero on our oscillator. WADA doesn't like it. Don't buy it.
All right. Getting into the next one, Blackbird 987 writes, all right, guys, I'm heading off. Thank you for the stream. Well, Blackbird, thank you for your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Wednesday update. In the meantime, last few requests coming in now. Saj Ali on YouTube writes, can we look at THETA and TFUEL? Yeah, let's take a look at THETA.
Looks kind of like it's at resistance to me. It's nice that it's up today. And it looks like it's forming a bottom here, but as long as we're just hanging out below resistance, then I'd be pretty cautious here. I guess at this point, if we close above $8 again, then that could probably be a good long signal. But as of right now, on lower time frames, I don't see any reason why you'd want to enter right here. TFUEL.
Yep.
This is arguably better looking here. good long signal yesterday. Initial long signal. Or wait, no. Yeah. We did. We had WADA. Okay. If you're in TFUEL, I could see taking it as high as 40 cents again. I see some nice volume up there. I would be looking for, at this point, if we did break down, I'd be looking for just a retest of maybe 25 cents, just right down here again. This chart actually does look different from a lot of the other charts we've looked at. Buyers have really stepped in here in this spot a lot more strongly than they have on some other tokens.
All right, I guess that concludes your thoughts.
Yeah, sort of. I'm still not sold. I think it's plausible that we come up and retest resistance, but I think this will decline with the rest of the market here. If the rest of the market does decline here. What's next?
All right, here we go. This is the home stretch now. One of the final requests is going to be coming from Mr. Ali as well. Solana, S-O-L. Yeah, one of the top gainers of the day, I think. Let's see what Solana's up to.
It's definitely not one of the top gainers of the day.
I thought it was the top of bubbles today, but maybe that was yesterday.
It all just blends together. I could see us push up towards $36, $37. General area. But I think I want to see us retest $20. $20, $17. Essentially, we retest the high of the previous consolidation area. Also tap into this consolidation area to see heavy in liquidity on VPVR. I think that makes sense. But it looks like everything else. What's next?
All right, here we go, guys. Just about 2 to 3 minutes left in today's show. Let's try to get to this last request or two. Boris Bitcoin, thoughts on TOMO chain? Looks like it's setting up for a decent long. All right, TOMO chain, long worthy.
Yeah, I'd take a long on this. This looks nice. So here we are, just crossing above our daily baseline, above zero on our oscillator, and crossing up. And it's also giving us, I guess it's not really a bullish divergence right here, because this is up here and this is up, but it's still nice. And then WADA is firing, so I'd take that. Put that on the list maybe for later today.
Excellent. All right, TOMO chain. Coming through. Boris Bitcoin always coming through with decent spots in the market. Thank you, Boris Bitcoin, for that one. Here we go. One of the final requests. Andrew Munns on YouTube. USD CAD exit hitting massive resistance. All right, USD CAD. Let's see what's going on with this price action.
So on lower time frames, boom, right here. So you see on higher time frames, we look like, oh no, we're breaking down, but it's actually, we just test the lows here, fake down, and then begin forming a bottom. If we do bottom here, I would be looking to hold it till at least 125, maybe even, or 123, maybe even 125 on Forex here. But I do see what you see. That's not too bad looking. Looks a little bit like an accumulation area. Okay, well, what's next?
All right, well, this is it, guys. This is the final minute or two of the show. We got one final request here, if we, of course, are willing to entertain it. Alex81SG on DLive writes, do you have time to look at HOT for me? Hollow chain. Yeah, let's look at HOT real quick.
Looks like everything else here. Still below resistance.
Riding it down.
Crossed under. I wouldn't be taking this trade. I'd be looking for a retest of maybe 0.5%, 4.5%. What's next? That's right, we're done.
We are done. Let's wrap things up from here, guys. Let's just hide this and reveal these two animations here on the bottom and move to wrap. A new user here on Twitch writes, can I buy at this position or wait? This is Bilal Nasir on Twitch. I have no idea what coin you're talking about, big guy, but please do subscribe.
Frankly, it doesn't matter. If you're new, you're never going to be able to time the market right. You'll fuck it up. So just dollar cost average, man, into the stuff that you're really interested in, and then spend the next few months learning about trading and stuff. Don't try and rush in and start making money. You'll just lose it.
Indeed.
Stay away from leverage.
Yep, and definitely don't play with the leverage slider. David Rice, thank you for another awesome show. In my mind, MF. Thanks, guys. Later chat. Yeah, goodbye to all our regular viewers. Thank you so much for your support, guys. It really does count. Got a few negative Nancys that always come through and hit the dislike button, but again, there is such an audience, such a powerful community behind us. We really do appreciate your support, guys. It really does help us get through, well, a 2-hour daily podcast looking at the markets, whether they're up or they're down or they're sideways, they're boring, sometimes they're exciting, but sometimes they are like this. And
it is what it is.
Yeah, it certainly is. In the meantime, let's go to wrap, and let's quickly mention premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's where, of course, you can find all our premium materials, our education, our signals, our proprietary indicators, so much more. The Pathways to Profits course to shape you up into a profitable trader. You can find all that by going to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can also find our Discord community. That's right. Join one of the top crypto communities in all of Discord land by checking out discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Finally, did you miss the show? Did you miss one of the requests? I think we did a record amount of requests and absolutely filled out the request bar on the right and then some. I do thank everyone for requests, but if you missed it, you have to check out the replay, which features all the timestamps. You can find the timestamps in the YouTube description, probably within an hour of the show wrapping up. Alternatively, do check out the new content channel in our Discord server. New content has the replay link as well as all the timestamps. All right. I don't have much more to add. We had a great show today. I do appreciate our analysts kicking it with us this afternoon, along with all the audience who does the same. Not much more to add to this. Final thoughts go out to our analysts.
Trade safely, guys. Price looks weak on lower time frames. Currently, I think it's more likely that we retest the lows and then bounce really hard up rather than continue to wander upwards here. So, I still have some money sitting on the side, and the longs that I picked up yesterday and the day before, I might end up getting rid of them tonight. We'll see what happens. Just don't be afraid to be careful in this spot, because one of two things is going to happen. We'll either keep going up or we'll keep going down. And if we keep going up, you'll have plenty of time to get in. And if we keep going down, you're going to be real sorry that you got in right here.
Yeah, you're going to be kicking yourself going, why didn't I listen to myself? Why didn't I do? I knew better. Like, it's all those things, right? Because you're just so scared of missing out that you pull the trigger and then all of a sudden you sit there looking at it like, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's kind of the situation that we're in right now.
Yeah, price is very volatile right now. A retest of these liquidity areas are pretty big drops. There's 20% on Bitcoin. A retest of liquidity at this low. It's the wrong tool. One is 20%, maybe 25% if we end up down here. Be cautious, guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, don't get too stuck on your biases here. We could go sideways for a little bit, but I'm with Alex. We could get a test down there to like that 34, 35 range, or we could just keep going up from now. We just got to be patient, sit in our positions, just see what happens at close.
All right, guys, that's it. You know what to find us, crackingcryptocurrency.com. Same bat channel, same bat time. We'll be back tomorrow for, well, an hour and a half installment. Wednesday, of course, is the community mentorship session. We'll see you there tomorrow. Once again, much love to you all. Peace out.
Goodbye.